What's up, guys? Today I got a video that I didn't think I'd actually end up making. It's a guide on the Zhanhu hero, who is, as many of you know from when I talk about him, he's a very good character. This isn't sarcasm. Alright, let's be real for a little bit. Before I start this video, I'd like to make something very clear. Like, very, very clear. This is something that people probably at a lower level can't really accept. Because the big orange way. This hero is really, really, really bad. Zhanhu is one of the, if not the worst character in the game right now. You have a blue zone, which is slow. It has a big hitbox, I guess. You have dodge attacks that don't have iframes and don't really dodge anything. It's a bit of a mess. But in the 30 reps and a bunch of hours I've put into the character, I feel like there's something you can do. There's some interesting stuff. There's some perk variety. There's some feats variety. You know, there's stuff you can do. But don't expect anything, like, expect to die a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have any pressure. You don't have a real mix-up. You don't have defensive, like, abilities. You have the dodge attack, sure, but like I said, it doesn't really dodge anything. You have really bad recoveries on finishers. You lose a fuckload of stamina. Like, just take these things in before you start playing this character. It's really bad for your health to start playing this hero and then end up losing because he's not like JJ or Tiandi. So please, guys, please let it sink in, think about it, and then when you're confident you want to play this character, then please continue onward with the guide. Or if you want to be that guy that just wants to stomp on this really bad hero even more, then watch it as well, because you're probably going to figure out what his weaknesses are by just listening to me talking. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's start off. Alright, so let's start with the punishes. The first one is guard break. On a guard break, you get a heavy from any direction. The damage is always 30. On a wall splat, from any throw, you get a heavy for 30 damage. Same punish as the guard break. The input for the heavy is very, very generous. You can even, like, be hugging the wall close. You can be a little distance away from it. It almost always guarantees the heavy. Another punish that you can do is if you get the right distance, you can try and back throw into the wall with a light into a finisher. This is super difficult to do, and as the footage shows, I'm struggling quite a bit with it. Yeah, if you get the right distance, you can whiff a light and then get a heavy finisher in for 35 damage. This is really hard to do, and I think you won't really get the chance to do it anyway, so be very careful when you attempt this, because you might just fuck it up and throw a light, and then, well, there goes your 30 guaranteed damage. When you parry an opponent's out-of-stamina attack, Zhanhu can do a zone into a heavy finisher for 55 damage. If the opponent manages to regain their stamina in time before, well, while they're getting up, it becomes an unsafe punish, and the opponent will be able to guard break you out of your recovery. To make this safe, you can do a light into a heavy finisher instead, which is 5 less damage, but you are safe. So keep an eye on the stamina bar of your opponent. So here's where it gets a bit complicated. When you catch the opponent out of stamina, and you can get a guard break off, you have two options. First off, you should always throw to the side, because Zhanhu has the most leniency when he throws to the side, as you can see in this clip. He recovers really fast from the animation, and the opponent stays on the ground the longest. From this, you have two options. The potential highest damage you can get is side heavy or top heavy, the damage is the same, into a forward dodge heavy, into a heavy finisher. The problem here is that the heavy finisher is not guaranteed, but it is safe from guard breaks. If the opponent wakes up, they cannot guard break you out of the heavy finisher. But if the opponent gets their stamina back while they're on the ground, they can light you out of the heavy finisher. So keep your eyes on the stamina bar of your opponent. The other punish you have from this is heavy into heavy finisher, which is 65 damage. Like I said earlier with the heavy parry punish, it is unsafe on wake up if they get their stamina back. As you can see in the clips, I get guard broken out of my recovery. So again, keep your eyes on the stamina meter of your opponent. It is very important to this character. So let's go over perks. Zhanhu's most important perk, in my opinion, is Devourer. All of this character's standard 4 executions that you can, well, 2 of which you have to buy, They all heal 50 damage, which is pretty good. But they're also really long, but I'll talk about that later. Right now, Devourer makes them heal, like, what, 70, 75 health? It's kind of nuts. It's pretty fucking insane. You should always definitely get that perk. The other two perks I can recommend are Endurance and Fresh Focus. Endurance is kind of a requirement, in my honest opinion. Fresh Focus is good, but Endurance just makes your stamina cost a lot less. And Zhanhu loses a lot of stamina when his side dodge lights and heavies get blocked. You lose about, like, what, 2/3? It's really high. So this is where I'll give you a choice. You can choose between Fresh Focus and a Headhunter. Fresh Focus gives you 20% stamina back every time you block, parry, or counter guard break an opponent. Headhunter increases your max HP by 4, totaling in 16 plus HP when you unlock all 4 of your feats. Headhunter allows for more survivability, while Fresh Focus allows for more stamina conserve. Whichever you think is nicer, I personally think Headhunter is nicer because I like being able to make one more mistake, but I've recently been trying out Fresh Focus, Endurance, and Devour, and the stamina you get from it is pretty crazy. You are allowed to be a bit more aggressive, while I guess you can make less mistakes because you have less max health. But this is all up to preference. I'd say definitely check out what you like more, and choose between either Fresh Focus or Headhunter. Now let's go over Zhanhu's feats. What I personally run is Fast Recovery, Chill and Roost, Fiery Breath, and Last Laugh. Now what you need to know is your first tier should either always be Bounty Hunter or Fast Recovery. While I don't recommend the tier 1, I think it's called Fiery Tusk, the damage is too low when it isn't affected by Chill and Roost. It does more damage when you hit it on a burning target, which is fine in like concept. But when are you gonna use this feat? It's like, it does like 15 damage without the fire. It's a bit niche to me. I never really got to use it unless I stayed on mid, because Chill and Roost is a very mid-focused feat. You defend mid with it. So, definitely take Fast Recovery because, like I said earlier, Zhanhu loses a lot of stamina and goes OS a lot. Or Bounty Hunter if you have Fresh Focus, because Fresh Focus does Fast Recovery's job. But, you have to actually, like, counter attacks in order for Fresh Focus to work. So if you are more confident that you'll just stall and wait out your stamina to regen, take Fast Recovery. If you like Fresh Focus and you have it equipped in your perks, then equip Bounty Hunter. Your tier 2 and 3 should honestly always be Chill and Roost and Fiery Breath. Now let's go over his tier 4s. His tier 4s, you have two options. You have either Last Laugh or Scorching Deluge. This is a bit map dependent, because if you have maps like Riverfort, all of the points are open. There is no roof above any of the points, so you better off equipping Scorching Deluge, because Scorching Deluge doesn't work if there's a roof over your head. If you're in a map like Beachhead, where most of the points, the side points especially, are on a roof, you're better off equipping Last Laugh, because you will not get to use Scorching Deluge otherwise. So yeah, before you play the match, study what map you're playing on before picking your tier 4. Another niche but usable in some scenarios feat choice would be Thick Skin. What this allows you to do is you can survive GB ganks, such as like Warlord ganks or, well, just regular guard break heavy ganks, and some Shaman ganks as well. But keep in mind, this is, like I said, it's very niche, and Chill and Roost has more use to your playstyle. So let's go over the fundamentals of his gameplay. Zhanhu is a very mid-focused character. Your job is to protect the minion lane and to keep any potential mid-clearers off of it. You use this by relocking your zone to minions, which, if you know what that is, Freeze explained it a lot in his videos. I'll link some sources in the description to show you what he means. But it's very simple. You unlock, you press like WASD or your joystick where you control it with, if you're on controller, and you aim at the minions, and then you zone. This makes your zone unparryable. But keep in mind, this keeps it susceptible to crush encounters, deflects, superior block attacks. So while you're zoning away in mid, you have to keep in mind that people can still try and attack you with fast attacks or any hyper armor moves, like Lawbringer Shove and stuff like that. So what you can try and do to counter that is use your dodge attacks. When Zhanhu does an opening attack that includes a zone, you can dodge cancel it. and you can dodge cancel it into dodge attacks, or into another zone even. This makes you mildly unpredictable because if you angle the zone correctly, the hitbox might come out earlier, which can catch some opponents off guard. Try and be creative with how you position yourself in the mid lane. As long as there are minions around you that are not in the same direction as the opponent you're facing, your zone is very safe, and you can make it very hard to counter, such as you're seeing in this clip here. When Zhanhu is effective in mid lane, he is quite an annoyance. He's really hard to get off mid. And he can be quite effective at racking up points for the team because of how many minions he takes down with his zone. So definitely stay focused on mid lane, and do not try and stray away from the minions, because when you run out of minions, Zhanhu becomes a reactable character again. The only downside to this playstyle is that Zhanhu does not possess body count or Yama Uba, which is Shinobi's tier 4 that heals him off, which heals like a bit of health every time he hits someone, or a minion. So he doesn't have these, so be sure to rotate out to a side point to heal up. Another one of your tools for mid is the combination of Chill and Roost and Fiery Breath. What you do with Chill and Roost is when your minions overtake the mid lane, so they start huddling up on that line, and the line turns like either blue or orange depending on what team you're on. You grab the Chill and Roost, you aim it in the minions, and you throw it in there. What this does is the Chill and Roost has this very easy to spot little purple flame, which is why it's not that good when used to defend like other points. But the fact that the minions are on top of this flame makes the flame virtually invisible. So it's really hard to spot where it is, which helps you defend mid. Fiery Breath, what this does is it makes your attacks do more damage on fire. This helps you put pressure on the opponent. If they eat the Chill and Roost, which is almost a guarantee because you can't really roll the trap, especially when you, well, can't really see it when it's covered by minions, you can use this to your advantage because your attacks do a lot more damage. Like, a lot. It's 40% extra damage from the Fiery Breath feat. You can use this to put pressure on your opponent when they're, well, trying to clear mid. You unlock zone, making it unparryable. You can dodge attack cancel, making your dodge attacks do a little more damage, obviously, so you dodge into them. But most importantly, they'll probably not touch you for another, as long as, well, I don't know how much the tick is for the, I think it's like 10 seconds that they're on fire. But this means that they probably won't start attacking you because, well, they're on fire and you do more damage while they are on fire. So definitely make use of this and use it a lot to defend mid. Do not use Chill and Roost to like defend side points. It's not really worth it. While he isn't the best at it per se, the subject I'm about to talk about, which is team fighting, still he has some use here. His left heavy finisher has a wide hitbox. He has decent damage. 35 damage heavy finishers is not that bad at all. And it has a wide hitbox, like I said. The problem here is that his right heavy finisher, it does have a hitbox. It doesn't follow the hitbox rule that you think it does, because the hitbox appears behind him at the end. So always focus on using your left heavy finisher. It has the widest hitbox, and it's probably going to hit more opponents offside, which will help put pressure on opponents. Well, when your team is trying to do other things, you can help put opponents off your teammates so they can focus on their 1v1 or their little team fight. You can take one opponent off of them because while you have a big sweeping attack, they're going to be afraid of that. You can also try using your left and right light finishers to try and catch people in their dodges. These aren't as effective, the damage is very low, and, well, the arch of the hitbox is not as wide as the left heavy finisher. But you can try and catch someone in a dodge and, you know, maybe rack up some damage, maybe even guarantee someone's heavy from your team, who knows. But it's niche, and you should definitely watch out when you're using it, because you might even hit your teammate and fuck up someone's punish. Be very aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. It is important. Ganking with Zhanhu is a bit more difficult, I'd say, than it first would seem. You have a lot of unblockables, which obviously should indicate to you, if you ever do it before, is like, okay, so my character should indicate a gank, and that's correct. You backstep light into a finisher heavy and then feigning it constantly, it can fuck up the opponent's indicator system and guarantee some damage for your teammate. Another thing you can do when the opponent is very low on health is get your teammate to make them go into block stuns. So they block an attack, and when you see that happen, you throw the finisher light. The thing is, this requires some setup. You have to be, well, obviously you have to be mid-chain already. which is why you should coordinate with your teammate. Have him tell you when he's gonna throw the heavy to try and get the opponent to block that attack, so you can prepare for your finisher light. The issue with this is that you should stick to indicator ganking and just helping your teammate just help throw out damage, like on bashes, on other attack confirms. Because the light finisher, what I just explained with the light finisher, this only really works if the opponent is very low on health. So try, like I said, observe what is happening in the fight. Keep your eyes open and keep reading what is gonna happen. Because if you end up lighting someone when they're only half health or something like that, you're just gonna give them revenge, and you didn't contribute anything. You just help the opponent get revenge. So, are they on crit? Yes or no? If they are, try and get that gank going. If not, just keep indicator ganking and helping guarantee damage. What I mean by that is, like, for example, if Tiandi does a palm strike, you throw a heavy, because your heavy is extra damage in the gank. This works with all sorts of characters. Works with characters like Black Prior, Warlord, Conqueror, Lawbringer, Warden, anyone with a bash, really. You're pretty effective there. Because you can also put on pressure, because you chain into your finisher, which means you can help guarantee more damage through the bash. Well, that concludes this this guide on Zhanhu. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. And if you want more educational content, you can check out the competitive For Honor subreddit. It's full of educational stuff. It includes links to the info hub. And a small announcement, I guess I've been added as a moderator on that Reddit, so you'll see me a lot over there, you know, moderating and helping people, of course. This video is going to be up there as well, and some recently big announcements from Spaniard, which I'll link the announcement in the description so you can read it yourself. But to summarize it, along with me and 5 others being new moderators, there's big changes coming to the info hub, which, if you don't know what that is that's basically the big book of For Honor that explains all this stuff to you. Frame data for every character, punishes, tips, tricks, feat data, everything is in there. I definitely recommend reading through it, just as a general improvement. It's informative, and it's actually kind of fun to see all the stuff that people have contributed to that. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another guide if I ever make one. And thank you all again, and I hope you all have a nice day. Adios.